Well, I'm getting ready to take this Philco out of its case and get it up on the bench, and we'll take a look at it. It had one knob, and that's all. So we're going to disassemble it and put it on the bench. Here's the speaker. We looked at that a while ago, and this is that swivel unit, and it says it's a model. I can't quite read that. And it's got some more information on it here. But 724 maybe? Not sure. Code 121. But we're going to take it out of the case and get it on the bench. So we got a broken coil there. That's going to be an issue. But let me go ahead and see what holds it in, and we'll go ahead and take it out, set it on a bench, and get started on it. One thing I did notice is this cable here does not go on there. I don't think so. No, I don't think that fits on there. That doesn't look like the right connector. Maybe. Yeah, it does. Okay, so that is the right connector. It looks smaller, just to dilute. We'll have to take the speaker off and put it in a box. So we have the field coil and all that. But first we'll get it out of the case and go from there. So let me get it set up and we will continue. Okay, we had 3 screws. One that had 2 washers on it, one that had no washers on it, and one that's smaller and had 1 washer on it, and it felt like it was really loose. But, well, they were all loose actually. And one's missing. This one here was missing. So I don't know about that. I'm going to take this off. This is the antenna. It connects to that bipole swinging antenna here, which is really cool. So hopefully that's all of that. This is off. This appears to be off. That's the power cord in there. Speaker's off. Somebody's had this out of the case at once before. I'm going to figure out what's holding it in. There's only those 4 holes on the bottom. And there's a block that goes around the antenna. And there's these holes here. There's 2 here. So what is holding it in? Oh, okay. Something on the top is holding it in. I got to get a light in there and find out what I got to unscrew. So let me go ahead and get that set up and get this out. Well, here's the radio out of its case, and that's the speaker, which I will put in a box so that it stays safe, so we don't hurt the cone. Of course it needs a lot of cleaning, right? Looks like it's all original. Sad that this broke. We'll see if we can fix it and get it to stand up again. Doesn't look like a wire's broken on it, but I can't tell for sure. Oh, I see. It was soldered here like this, and the solder came free, so we may be in good shape with that. If I can get that reattached. Can't solder it because it's too old. Heating up all that solder there to melt that would be a real problem. So I'll probably jump a wire to a ground from that solder joint, and I'll just epoxy it there so it stays there and just run a wire to the chassis. It's not a big deal. And still can't quite see if that's a 46 484 or what that is. Let me get a magnifying glass on that. 480. Okay. It's probably a model 36 480. I'm thinking. I'll pull up a schematic and we'll find out. And I might be able to read it off the inside of the case. Somebody's been in here to put this rinky-dink cord on it. This cord is probably, it's not polar, missing its ground plug. It's grooves, old cord. I'm assuming this is a 70s, probably like an air conditioner, 110 air conditioner cord. It's got a UL number on it, or an LML number 24121. Not sure, I don't see no date on that. But anyway, oh, wait a second. Does that say what I think it says? No. Thought it was said Archer, it doesn't. But anyway, they put this cord on. We'll take that off, of course, and put on a more era-specific cloth cord like it originally had. This is the antenna. Loop goes on these two. Not sure what that is. Ground, I guess. And I don't know why they got this hanging off with a brown lead that's broken shorter than the white lead and coming off this plug. So we'll find out what that plug is for and deal with that. Here's the IF cans. Got two tuning slugs here. And the string looks okay. Let's turn it around, take a look at the front end. And it has pre-selects. It's got 6 pre-select buttons. And these are the 5 coils that go here. So these are the pre-select. Let's see if that's not it. That's not it. Must be this one. Yeah, okay, the dial works. So the dial string's still working. This is probably tone. This is probably the on and off. I don't know. No, it's not clicking. And this, I don't know what it is. It's going, okay, it's a channel selector, band selector. It goes to a switch down on the bottom. Alright, and here's some more of the copper or whatever that was holding that on. You see, when I flaked it off, it's nice and clean there. And that's it there. So that was soldered on and just not a good solder joint. And we sure can't solder it. The reason it's not a good solder joint, nobody likes soldering these things. It's very dangerous. Even back then it was dangerous. Now it's really dangerous because you can't get these parts. Back then you could. If you messed it up, you would just have the cost of a part. There's a chassis number here, which again is hard to read. Looks like 0614209. It could be a 29, but I'm not sure what your age. No, FM. That's a nice radio. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tubes. So it's a 7-tube radio. And what about the buttons? Are they working? Okay, yeah, they're clicking in. So they're independent of the dial. And this one is just, I don't know what that is, probably because it's on a separate switch. There's 5 filters and 5 pre-selects. And this is probably automatic frequency control or something, I don't know. But to pull up the schematic, that's the next thing. Well, first, box that. That's the next thing. Get that in a box, plug this back on it, and seal it in a box so that it's safe till I'm ready to check the coil on it. And we'll check all the coils, we'll check the transformer. But I think it's fine. I think it just needs to be, serviced, basically. We need to attach that temporarily. I'll just tape it in place so that it don't move until we're ready to actually get it permanently stationed. So this is it looks like a power switch here. It's a switch for sure, an on-off switch of some kind. That could be the main power, because this is not got a main power unless it's on this thing, but this is not clicking, and this is not pull on or off. Okay, yeah, I would think that's probably the power button, but we'll find out. So there you have it. There's the radio. Let me get it situated, pull up a schematic, and we will get looking at it. Thanks for watching. Well, I found the schematic for this radio, and there it is there, and that is a 46480, and that's it. Yeah, this is it here. There's the tuning information for the alignment and the AM tune. It does say FM. So it does have a AM, FM. Yep, 9.1 megacycles. So I wasn't dreaming when I jumped to that conclusion. So yeah, and this is the power switch that I was looking at on that first button. That's this here. So the first button is the power on off, see? And then you have the 5 selects with the 5 coils. What else can I tell you? I couldn't read the tube numbers on any of the tubes except maybe the 7H7, but so I'm glad I got this 7F8 mixer. I did read 7Z4, which is the rectifier, and that is a very rare tube, so I know I'm looking at the right place. This is 6G6 detector here, and the first AM is a 6SQ7G, which is this one here, and this is an FM antenna, so that's what this is. This is the FM antenna, and this is the AM antenna, which is that loop antenna in the case. There's the capacitor tuners, which are these 3 here, and there's the coil that's off, is right there. And then there's 2 more capacitor tuners here in the front. So we got the model right. It is a 46. And it was just hard to read because the ink is worn out, but I went through a few until I found it. 46480. This is the bottom, which we haven't looked at yet. And there's the components. What's that? Oh, 20,000 ohms per volt. Okay. Yeah, back then voltmeters didn't have a lot of impedance, and so certain voltmeters had more impedance than others. So, but today the impedance is in the megohm range, so you can use just about any old. Let's see, can I flip that up that way? Yeah, I can. Here's the bottom. Never seen it. We're seeing it together. And there it is, and it looks all original. I don't see anything that's been replaced, at least not at first glance. Perhaps this bumblebee capacitor is not original, but because all the rest of the paper, but it could be. And that's the tuning assembly and the selector switch for the bands. That's the selector switch, that's the tuning. And what else can we tell you here? Well, that's pretty much it, but you'll get to see a lot more of it as we work on it together. And sure don't like the way they did that. But anyway, here's the tubes. And see, this is the 7Z4, which you probably can't see in the camera there. Upside down, so that's 7Z4 going upside down up the other way, and that's what helped me identify it. I didn't unplug this can tube. Oh boy, it's fried. Look at that. See, there's no reading numbers off this. It's an RCA, so this was a replacement, but boy, that sure looks like that burnt up. I hope that's just normal rust. Pretty sure it is. And there's no reading the number on that either. No, even the pin's gone on the bottom, the plastic cover. Is it still in there? No, this tube was bad when they put it in. See, the whole key is broken off there. So it's a good thing I can see part of the key or I wouldn't know where it goes. It goes that way. Okay. And that would be, well, what would that be? That would be, oh, it's a 6V6. It's the output tube. Second amplifier in this particular case. And here's the first amplifier here. So this would be like preamp and this would be the output. And should make sense. And then underneath, we have the capacitors on this sub-assembly here. Tuning assembly. And the lugs that come out the sides. I mean, they're pretty cool back then. They drew everything out for you. So that's it. And then this is the resistor and capacitor box here. And so we got all of our values, and that's the bottom of the page. So, and we got our tuning information. And the dial plate has the frequency marks on it to set the tuning on the dial, which is nice. So you can set it while it's out of the radio. And then these have their frequency range marked on them. 900 to 1600, 850 to 1500, and it looks like 650 to 13, 600 to 12, and 540 to 1000. So that's the tuning range that you can get on each one of those push button selectors. So that makes sense, right? From looking from the front, this would be the lowest, this would be the highest, so you tune them up the dial where you wanted them at your pre-select locations. Nice radio. Very, very interesting. And it's got just the three, looks like just the 3 IF cans on top, and then it's got tuning slugs to get to the other capacitors. Okay, I went ahead and tested the tubes in this Philco radio, and what I found is not surprising to me. And we'll go over them, but they're in the order that they go back in the radio here. So the 7F8 is at 65%. It's a good tube. 65 is good for that age tube. Yeah, taking a risk of not getting one is good if you order one. You might get one a little better, but it isn't worth messing with. The first 7H7, there's two of them, are good, again, on a good minus scale, but they're good. They're in a good range. 58, 63, they're both the same. They're all right. The 6SQ7 has three settings, 3 tubes in one. 72, 68, 68, it's good. None of them tested shorted, which I didn't think they would. 6H6, well, it's got 2 elements in it. 2 tubes in one, and the one is 83%, which is really good, and then the other one is 66%, which is on the low side of good. It may be, I really don't want to do it, but if it caused me issues on this tube, I could always switch the plate and the cathode and the screen on these 2 tubes, depending on what's in them. Under the radio, because then I could be using that tube, part of the tube, instead of this part of the tube. But either way, it's good, so I don't think I'll mess with that. But if it caused a problem, I could do that, because those are dual tubes anyway, so even if you bought a replacement, it would be the same situation. The one that was used would be the lower side if they were used. Now the 6V6 is this metal can, and I knew that joker was dead. I knew it because the keys broke off, which we looked at earlier. So because the keys broke off, somebody plugged it in the wrong way, right? They thought they had it close maybe, but they put it in the wrong way, and tube got really hot, as you can see. It burnt the tube up, and the tube is dead. It's 0%. You can't get any worse than that. It's totally open. Probably the filament's open. Most likely that's what happened. It was put in the wrong way and got plate voltage or screen voltage across the filament. So instead of 6.3 volts, it probably ended up seeing 250 volts, and of course that would have just blew the filament. Probably less because it got hot. So it probably was across some other part of the tube that had lower voltage, but well over 6.3 volts. So it just burnt it up. And as a result, the rectifier tube, the 7Z4, which is a dual triode, it's a rectifier tube. It measures exactly the same on both internal tubes, 52, which is weak. It's in the question mark range. That probably happened because of the output tube being in the wrong position and drawing a whole lot of current. Since it got so hot, it drew a lot of current through that rectifier tube. Now, the rectifier tube is not as critical as any other tube. All it does is convert AC to DC, as long as it's not allowing, as long as it's conducting, it'll work. So just because it's in the question mark range and it's sort of on the upper half of the question mark range, doesn't mean that it's no good. It could be replaced. It's weak. So that's up to the customer on that one. I'd probably replace it, but it's a rare tube, so we'll see. Relatively rare. It's not really rare. It's just 7Z4. You don't see a lot of them. So anyway, let me check with the customer on them. I definitely got to order a 6V6. I don't have any in stock. I go through those so fast because they're popular with guitar amps and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and order that tube and ask the customer about the 7Z4. And while I'm waiting on them, I'll go ahead and clean these. I already got my electrolytics ready to go in so we can fire it up, but I can't fire it up without an output tube. It's not going to work. So that's where I'm at. And I'll upload this part of the video, and I hope you found it interesting. If you want to see more on this cool AM/FM Philco radio, console upright radio, model 46480. Be sure to like the video and hit the bell, and you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded in the series, as well as other videos, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.